Well, it's time to do a little deep dive into this guitar to guarantee that we are going to be comparing the correct pickups that should be in this guitar to the Les Paul Modern Studio. So, going to just go in here. We've already looked at the wiring. The wiring looks like it's factory stock compared to the Gibson wiring in the 2011 traditional as well as the 2020 custom. So like I say, pretty sure we're going to discover that this is a stock 2007 Les Paul custom. But gonna take it apart from the top, check the pickups, and make sure everything is as we think it should be. So here we go. So when you start pulling the strings off of these guitars, a lot of guys will, if they're not going to surface the board, and we are going to do some conditioning on the fretboard today, so we're doing a full cleanup and everything. This, like I say, you just pull 3 strings off, do one side, then pull the other 3 strings off, and this way, this never tries to fall off, because these will try to come out if you're not careful, right? But today we're doing everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this off and take a look at it real quick. And it's just a regular old Gibson full weight tailpiece. I mean, it's heavy, so it's not like it's a special edition or anything like that. But on here, everything is exactly in a position where you want it to be if your action is where you want it. What I do is I pull this bridge off, set it to the side, and then I take blue painter's tape and just put little pieces on there to show exactly where everything is. And I'll show you after I put them on there how that looks so you can know exactly how it's done. Like I say, it's not something that's necessary. You can easily adjust these with the thumb wheels. But if you're looking to find a way to make sure everything stays exactly like it's supposed to, putting a little bit of painter's tape on there helps a lot. So here it is with the painter's tape on there. Like I said, I make it where they're in perfect line with the bridge or with the fretboard. So it's all looks like a straight line down the fretboard. This way, if something spins, you'll know when you're polishing it, doing cleanup, doing all that kind of stuff. It's going to be real obvious if one of these gets out of kilter, because it's very obvious that they are not lined up with the fretboard. Another, just a basic tip for people who are new to restringing, cleaning, stuff like that with their guitars: do yourself a favor. Cut these strings off and make them go away, because if you don't, you will spend an inordinate amount of time trying to get the pieces that were wound through the string, through the tuners. You will wind an inordinate amount of time doing something like that. Take them, cut them. It's perfectly okay. You're not going to do anything to harm your bridge or anything. Just make it happen, because it will make your life so much simpler. Now, this guitar hasn't lived a horrible life, but it also hasn't lived a sheltered one either. So in here we have the original pick guard, and it is absolutely what you think it should be. It looks just like, it's a Gibson piece, and it looks just like Gibson, so that's never been changed. But it is dirty on the back, so I will definitely be doing some cleaning on that. Never seen one get quite so dirty, so not sure how that happened on that one. This might seriously be the cleanest part of this guitar. It is the truss rod cover, and the truss rod looks like it's in really good shape. Pretty good bit of adjustability. It's not sticking out quite yet, but it's getting close. So somebody probably has adjusted this in the past, but it is certainly not anything that we think that is not, or at its maximum adjustability. So, but see how dirty that is compared to what it's going to be. So that's This thing sits on display because it was my dad's guitar and has done that for years. So it's been about 2 years since the last time I changed the strings on it. So it's actually maybe more like 4 or 5. I'm not really sure, but no matter how you look at it, it's time. So here it is, moment of truth time. Birds are even singing for this. What is in the 2007 Custom? Whoa, really short leads. Let's get to here. Well, it's Gibson USA, but the stickers are not on there, so if I had to guess based on what I've seen from Trogley's channel, that is 100% a 490R. And this one is not Gibson US. Oh no, there's the Gibson USA logo. So see it right there. So probably a 490R, 498T, just like it's supposed to, based on what the appearance is of the screws and everything from what I've, like I say, seen from other people that have taken them apart. We'll check the readings once we when we do the video to make sure, but kind of what we expected. They are Gibson USA pickups. I accidentally put some conditioner on the fretboard, but it does look really good like this. Won't look like this at the end because I'll be taking some of it back off, but that that PRS conditioner stuff comes out really thick. So PRS fretboard conditioner, watch out, it flows really fast. So cleaner has been done on here, about to wipe off the fretboard with where the excess PRS fretboard conditioner was, but check out how much better that headstock looks already, not even without polishing anything. So what we were doing, so I'm just going to use a cloth and wipe down the fretboard. Now I'm going to come back and polish the frets after I get some other stuff done here, but just looking at this after the cleanup of the actual frets, or actually of the board, it just looks so much better than it did before. So I don't know if you can see that, but that ebony fretboard really does like that PRS conditioner. So we'll get a better look at it once we get the frets all polished up. So as a point of reference, I'm going to get a little bit closer look at these frets before I do the polishing on them, so that everybody can see the drastic difference that it makes when you do go ahead and clean them up, because they really do start to look better. And here we go. So now look at the difference in the way these look now versus the way they looked just moments ago. And that is why you always want to polish the frets if you're conditioning the fretboard. And this particular one had like gunk all along the, the high end area, and it was pretty nasty, but it's looking real good now. Let's get the bridge back on. So just as something I do that maybe not everybody else does, or not everybody needs to, but I take and put the high E and the low E on, and don't tighten them all the way down. Make it where they just have enough strength to hold these on. That way you can still pull on the tailpiece to adjust these back to wherever they need to be before I pull off those. And that way, it's back where it's supposed to be. And now it's string time, but I'm not going to subject you to that. So, looking good though. Look at how that fretboard is looking now that it's icing clean. The headstock just shines, which is what they're known for. So here it is, all strung back up and looking shiny. So, the notable thing about this pickguard was the stuff that was on the back is like an imperfection. It's not necessarily gunk. You can't just like wipe it off. And even with just a touch of using steel wool, it was not coming off. And I hesitated to dig too deep into it to make it work any better. So I just left it like it was and then put the guitar back together. But that is a 100% difference. And I am super excited about the fact that this thing has new strings and the fretboard is conditioned, because I felt like the fretboard needed to be conditioned for quite some time. So, one more part after I get finished cleaning up the strings and getting them tuned, and then it'll be time to put this one to bed for a little bit until I can put a few licks in on it. Maybe I'll put a few licks in on this video. Let's see. We'll just see. Well, here it is with all of the cleanup work. Everything looking good. The frets are amazing looking. Fretboard looks great, and that headstock is cleaner than I think it's been since my dad owned it. So, these guitars really are, and this one's chunky, man. We're gonna have to put this one on the weight, on the scale, because it feels so heavy compared to that modern studio. But it really does have a very similar sound. So, there's a little quick preview of what is to come from this guitar. Give it a few days to let the string stretch out, and then I'll be putting it up against the Les Paul Modern, or putting this one up against the Modern Studio. So, and have fun, enjoy the day, and let me know if you want to see this one up against anything else. Till next time.